Hello, my name is Cindy Despois. My student number is 19582610, and this is assignment 1 for the subject TEAC7099. The scientific concept students are expected to show understanding of from making a model is derived from the syllabus points shown on the screen. The concepts are that each of these systems have their own important duties, providing oxygen, energy, and nutrients, and removal of waste to keep the human body alive and healthy. The other concept that students are going to learn from this is that each system has its own purpose and it cannot do it alone. The design process began with drawing a labeled diagram of the digestive system to create a prototype from. As you can see here, this is what my model was based off on.
This was my prototype. It started out with the right ideas. I wanted it to be on cardboard so it would be sustainable. And I've used different mediums to draw on it to figure out what would be the best for getting the colors to pop.
Once the design was done, it was time to move on to figuring out the moving element. I knew I didn't want to use a glue gun as that increases the safety risks. After a few failures using PVA glue and tape to try creating a 3D maze, I had to change my idea and eventually settled upon using a magnet to display the movement instead. Here is an example of what a group of Year 6 students could come up with for a model if their focus was on the digestive system.
The digestive system has a series of organs that breaks down food so it can be absorbed into our blood and go to where it is needed within the body. The digestive system first begins in the mouth. So we have our food, it's going to go into the mouth. The mouth has teeth which chew on the food, turning it into small lumps. It has the tongue which pushes the food around the mouth, turning them into even smaller lumps, and salivary glands which release saliva which helps to break down the food even further. The tongue then pushes the food towards the back of the throat to where it leads into the esophagus. Now the esophagus is a long tube that contracts with a word called peristalsis. It contracts so that the food will go down. It even pushes liquid as well towards the stomach. The stomach is a stretchy muscular bag that is the size of a tennis ball when empty. But with food, it will expand. The food moves around in the stomach while the stomach releases from its lining digestive juices and acids which kill harmful bacteria and break down the food even further. The food with the juices can be called chyme, and this is moved into the small intestine. Now the small intestine actually goes behind the large intestine, but so that you can see it, it's just like there. Now, traveling through the small intestine, it's a 6.5 meter long tube, which also does peristalsis, contracting to move the food throughout the tubes. The food is turned from a semi-solid into a liquid, and it absorbs nutrients through the lining with small finger-like bumps on it called villi. The nutrients absorb through the lining into the blood. Then it pushes whatever's left into the large intestine. The large intestine absorbs water, minerals, and salt. It pushes the food all the way through it, and after it's absorbed whatever it can, all that's left is indigestible waste. So the indigestible waste travels for storage in the rectum. Now the indigestible waste, another word for it is feces or poop, and the poop just sits there waiting. The final step of the digestive system is getting released out of the body from the anus, which is a ring of muscles that relaxes to let it out. So out goes the food into the toilet. Now, we have all these other organs that we didn't mention, the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. These organs all create digestive juices like bile and send them towards the small intestine to help break up food further. The liver is the body's chemical processor, and it takes the nutrients from the small intestine and sends it, once it's processed in the liver, all over the body to send out the nutrients.
The model's moving component worked by having a magnet manipulate a representation of food to move throughout the display, showing how the digestive system works. It also had a moving mouth that used split pins to demonstrate chewing. It should also be noted that students will be encouraged to follow the cross-curriculum priority of sustainability by using recycled materials such as cardboard to help make the models. Students are expected to also show that they understand how the three systems work together. After displaying the model, the example group would use labeled diagrams, as can be seen here, and make some observations, like how the digestive system breaks down food to get the nutrients which are then absorbed into the blood. The respiratory system, oxygen is brought into the body to the lungs where it moves into the blood. And the circulatory system. The bloodstream carries the nutrients and oxygen all over the body. This successfully shows the understanding and knowledge that the students have of how the systems work together. The unit plan on the human body focuses on these outcome points and content points. This is an example of a problem that could be posed to Year 6 students at the end of the unit. We have just finished a unit of work which explored the human digestive, respiratory, and circulatory systems, including their main organs and how these systems all work together. In groups, create a working model and a labeled diagram to demonstrate your understanding of the unit. Your model must have a moving element, making it interactive, represent a minimum of one of the systems, be it digestive, respiratory, or circulatory, have clearly labeled organs, and explain the design process with evidence. The diagram must include main organs and clearly label the organs as well. What are some learning experiences and pedagogical strategies that will be used in class before the building of the model? Learning experiences that will take place prior to building the model will involve various pedagogical strategies, beginning with explicit teaching, hands-on learning, and then inquiry-based learning. As this is an abstract concept that can be difficult to understand, it is important to explicitly teach specific terms like the organs' names and what body system they belong to. Students can use closed passages that use these key vocabulary or fill in the blank diagrams, such as labeling the respiratory system. Hands-on learning can help solidify learning of complex scientific concepts. When exploring the digestive system, students can use Play-Doh to model the organs, also to imitate food going through the body. As students become more familiar with the concepts of the body systems, inquiry-based learning will be introduced, with students completing their own investigations, such as what happens to food after we swallow. These are the general capabilities covered in the unit plan, the cross-curriculum priorities, and the key learning areas. These are some health and safety considerations for the students. Safe use of materials and tools. Make sure the teacher is supervising and checking the usage of scissors, glue, recycled materials. Check for any dangers, as they could be sharp, sticky, or contaminated. Ensure all resources are packed away properly to make sure that people aren't tripping over them and not ingested. Hygiene and allergies. Make sure students are washing their hands regularly in lessons where food or props are used, such as latex or fruit. Check for allergies and dispose of food safely otherwise. Online awareness. In lessons where research online is needed for investigations, supervise students to make sure they're being safe online.